Hi again, everyone. Gary Digital Williams here on Boxing Law on the Beltway. Our news and notes for this week, and we have a lot of news, and we have some sad news to give out this week. And on a happier note, we do have our April schedule to give out this week, as we promised last week. So we're going to do that tonight as well. Beltway Boxing News and Notes brought to you by Real Time Pain Relief. From boxers to ballerinas, for shoulder pain, the muscle strain, and everything between, Boxing Law on the Beltway recommends Real Time Pain Relief, the natural, safe, fast, and plant-based ointment. And if you go to freepainoffer.com, buy $10 worth of Real Time Pain Relief, you get a free $10 tube of Real Time Pain Relief. Rub it on, the pain is gone in real time. And by DeborahSpears.com. You go to DeborahSpears.com and you're a new member to DeborahSpears.com. She's got great jewelry for you. And your first purchase, you're 20% off as a new member, plus free shipping and handling available from DeborahSpears.com. Don't forget that great boxing pendant that she has available for you only on Deborah, Debra, Spears.com. Well, just after we went off the air last week with our news and notes present, almost immediately after we went off the air, I got word that the legendary Dave Jacobs passed away. And if you're out of the Beltway and you're a boxing fan, you have to know who Dave Jacobs is. That's just personally. But for those who do not, Dave Jacobs is really, for this era of Beltway boxing, which really stretches as far back as the mid-'70s for him, he is one of our founding fathers of Beltway boxing. He's one of the people in the business who got things going. And the reason why we say that, because one of the people he worked with over the years was a 14-year-old kid by the name of Sugar Ray Leonard. And he was Leonard's first trainer, and he took him to that gold medal. He got him ready for that gold medal in 1976. And he also worked with Ray when he turned pro for a good part of his career. He worked with him through when Ray won his first title. Leonard won his first title against Wilfredo Benitez in 1979. And he was also there the first time that Leonard fought Bro Duran and lost up in Montreal, Canada in 1980. However, he was not there when Leonard beat Duran in the rematch. And according to some people, it all depends who you're talking to. Some people say that Jacobs was fired. Some people say that he did not approve of the second rematch with Duran and took himself out of the picture. I don't know what happened, and we may never know now. But suffice it to say, he was a major figure. He came back to the Leonard camp for the bout against Marvin Hagler in 1987, and then worked with Leonard when he fought Tommy Hearns the second time in 1989. That was at the draw. He also, one of the other bouts he worked was Leonard's only time he defended this title here in the Beltway, and that was right after he won the title. He defended it against Davey Boy Green at the Capitol Center in one of the most brutal knockouts that Leonard has ever put on and you ever see in all of boxing. It was a nationally televised event on ABC, and Leonard just destroyed Davey Boy Green that night. No question about that. So Jacobs went on. He worked some other people. I saw a picture recently where he was in the corner of Aaron Pryor, and I did not know that. And that might have been had to be after Panama Lewis got banned from working corners in boxing after the Billy Collins, Louis Resto tragedy there. So Dave Jacobs was in Pryor's corner for a little bit. And also, Jacobs worked with Mike Tyson after Tyson got out of prison. And of course, Tyson's first public appearance after he got out of prison was at the Beltway Brawl when Vincent Petway fought Simon Brown. And Mike Tyson did commentary on that night for Showtime. And that was, again, his first public appearance after he got out of prison. But Dave Jacobs worked with him and brought him to 2 world titles. He was one of the people that got him to 2 world titles. He was a strong advocate of the amateur program in the Beltway. I had the pleasure of knowing him and really admiring what he did. He worked really up until he was really too ill to do it anymore. But he was always behind the kids. Even during his illness, he would come to events like the Golden Gloves. In fact, I have a picture on the blog from years ago where I took a picture of 3 legendary trainers: Eugene Hughes, Dave Jacobs, and Junior Sinton. Now only Junior Sinton is still here. And I will cherish Dave Jacobs. He was a tremendous person, one of the nice people you ever wanted to meet. Always had a great smile for everybody. Again, a strong advocate of the amateur program in this city. Always at the amateur events. I saw him at some of the pro events too, many of the pro events also, but he was front and center for the amateurs. I mean, he was there at the Golden Gloves every year. He was fantastic, just a great person all the way around. And we are going to miss him. He set the stage. Look at guys like him, Adrian Davis. Davis is still here. Thank goodness. He just turned 86 recently. Jacobs died at the age of 84. And, these are the guys that really got things going in this area from the mid 70s all the way up to today. And, we thank them and we appreciate what they've done. No question about that. So, really, best wishes to my good friend Candy Jacobs, his daughter, and Dave Jacobs Jr. and the whole Jacobs family. We send our thoughts and prayers and condolences to you. So it has been a tough few weeks for us, and that is definitely shown by the 3 funerals that we have over the next couple of weeks here in the Beltway. Of course, we've lost a number of people. As I said, Frank Gilbert's funeral, we don't know when that will be because it'll be sometime in either the late spring or early summer. Frank Gilbert, of course, the longtime trainer at Lock Raven Gym in Baltimore, Maryland. He passed away earlier this month. But we had the funeral a couple weeks, I think a week ago, for Eugene Hughes also. But we have 3 funerals this week. Let me give you the dates for that. Thursday, March 29th, that's the funeral for R.G. Quick Tyler. That was the young boxer who was shot and killed in Southeast Washington last week. His service will be on Thursday, March 29th at the Temple of Praise. That's located at 700 Southern Avenue in Southeast D.C., Washington, D.C. Once again, the viewing's at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. The service starts at 11 a.m. So once again, R.G. Quick Tyler, Thursday, March 26th, Temple of Praise, 700 Southern Avenue, Southeast D.C. Now, the service for Dave Jacobs will be on Saturday, March 31st. Saturday, March 31st. That'll be at the Way of the Cross Church of Christ. That's located at 1800 Hazelwood Drive in Capitol Heights, Maryland. The viewing begins at 9 o'clock. Service begins around 11 o'clock. So once again, that's Saturday, March 31st. The Way of the Cross Church of Christ, 1800 Hazelwood Drive, Capitol Heights, Maryland. That's where the funeral service for Dave Jacobs will take place, beginning at 9 o'clock for the viewing. And then also the memorial service for former Beltway boxer Magic Michael Ward. He was killed in that shootout up in New York a couple weeks ago. And his service will be on Monday, April the 2nd at the Guiding Light Refuge Church at 51st and Central Avenue in Southeast DC. That service begins at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So hopefully you can make one of those. I'm definitely going to be at the Dave Jacobs service. I really want to be there for that one. I think a lot of people in the area, we're going to have generations of people in the Beltway will be at that service coming up on Saturday, March 31st. So once again, viewing from 9 o'clock, service begins at 11 a.m. Now, before we get to the schedule, we got one event we have to talk about from last week, and that is Travis Severe Reeves out of Baltimore. He had a bid for the IBO light heavyweight title, fall short on him this past Saturday. He lost that was on Saturday, March 24th. He lost by 12th round TKO to Caro Marat. And he's out of Kitzingen, Bayern, Germany. And that was in the main event of a card at the Insel Park Hall in Hamburg, Germany. Now, going by the report of Alexei Sukachev, he's of BoxingScene.com, and he says that both boxers exchanged vicious, lazy, but powerful punches, had a slow way throughout. Murat's power seemed to be dominant over Reeves, but Reeves got his punches in, and he started to hit Murat in the head. Murat was inconsistent at close quarters. He did well coming in and out, and also with his body punches. But the rounds seemed to be very identical. One round kind of followed the other. Both fighters were going hard at a phone booth situation. Murat looked dead tired, but his fatigue didn't affect his punch rate, according to Sukachev, as it was already rather low. But Murat caught his second win in the championship rounds, and Reeves started to gas out. And you know what? Let me stop there for a quick second, because Reeves did not go over to Germany until like a week before that event, I believe. I don't think he was, unless he was, because I know he did an interview with one of the local sports reporters here, and I want to say he was still in town when he did that interview. I hope that's not the case, but I believe he was still in town. And if that's the case, that didn't work. And the reason why, because in the championship rounds, he gassed out, according to Alexei Sukachev. He was wobbly on his legs at the conclusion of the 11th round. Reeves tried to turn on the heat again, but Murat was lethargic for the first 2 minutes, but he exploded with a right hand and a left hook, and Reeves was stunned, and the referee came in and stopped the bout. Now, Sukachev said that the stoppage may have been a little premature, but the bout was stopped at approximately 40 seconds of the final round. So again, I hope he was not. I hope he was in Germany when he talked to my buddy Glenn Clark on Glenn Clark Radio, Pressbox Radio. But if he wasn't, that's his fault, and that's his camp's fault. Because again, you got to get acclimated to the time change. You got to get acclimated to the weather, and everything's different when you go overseas. It's a different ball game, and I don't know if Reeves understood that, and I think it cost him down the stretch here. According to the way it looks in this situation, it cost him down the stretch. So, loss breaks a 12-bout winning streak for Reeves. He was on a roll, and I think he this won't hurt him. I don't think much. It's a world title shot, the IBO. I mean, IBO is a lesser known world title, but it's got some growing to it. Of course, the IBO junior middleweight title will be defended on next month. So it's got some prestige to it. And I don't think that Reeves will be hurt by it. He may lose his rank. He was 8th in the world by the IBF. And that may go after this. He's now 15-3-2, 7 KOs. Now, Murat is ranked by all the major governing bodies in the top 15. I think 3 of them he's in the top 10. And he's now 32-3-1, 21 KOs. So it's a step back for Reeves, but not a big step back. I mean, the only thing really situation with him is his age. He's 37 years old, and that might be a factor more so than him losing this bout. So we wish our continued best wishes to Reeves. He does have that suspension now because he got knocked out. So I don't know. He may be available for the show he's scheduled to be on in June. So he may be ready for that. So we'll see what happens. And I think if I'm Reeves, I'd probably take that now just to get back on the winning track. So we'll see what happens with that and see what Reeves does going forward. Now, let's go to our annual awesome April of Beltway boxing. It's been an awesome annual situation for us. The only difference is this year, there's nothing going on in the Beltway. No card scheduled for the Beltway in April or even May for that matter, but definitely not in April. But we do have a lot of people going a lot of places and some good matches along the way. Let's start on Friday, April 6th. That'll be at the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. There are 3 Beltway boxers scheduled to be on this card. First of all, undefeated Washington, D.C. featherweight Marcus Dream Crusher Bates. He'll be in an 8-round contest against equally undefeated Rais Aleem of Las Vegas, Nevada. He, to my knowledge, is no relation to the Aleem brothers here in our area. Moshe and Emmanuel Aleem, they are not related to him to my knowledge. Bates is 8-0-1, 7 KOs. He makes his 3rd straight appearance at the 2300 Arena, coming off the 6-round knockout victory over Antonio Rodriguez on December the 1st. Now, the interesting thing about Marcus Bates probably has had more knockouts in the final rounds of bouts than anybody I've known in the last few years here in the Beltway. I know he has at least, out of his 8 wins, I believe 5 or 6 of them came in the last round when he knocked somebody out in the last round. Now, one bout, he knocked somebody out at 4 seconds of the final round. I mean, he gets him late, but he gets him. And he did that same thing against Antonio Rodriguez. I mean, he got that knockout late, but he got it. He got it, and that's the main thing. So, be interesting to see what he does against Aleem, who is undefeated as well, 10-0, 5 KOs. But he last fought in August of 2016 when he stopped Dwayne Wisdom in the 4th round in Indianapolis, Indiana. And this will be the first 8-round bout for both men. It'll be interesting because Aleem, again, coming off an almost 2-year layoff, we going into an 8th round bout, which he's never done before. That's going to be very interesting to see what happens there. So Marcus Bates, that I believe that's a co-feature bout on that 2300 arena. This is a King's Promotions card. So Marcus Bates takes on Raiz Aleem. Also, Owings Mills heavyweight Kobe Madison takes on Guillermo Del Rio of South Houston, Texas, in a bout scheduled for 4 rounds. Now, Madison won a 6-round unanimous decision. He's 6-0-1, 4 KOs. He won a 6-round unanimous decision over Dante Selby. That was his last outing on February 13th at the Sands Bethlehem Casino in Event Center in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Sands Bethlehem Event Center is what it's called. Del Rio's 2-2. 2 KOs. He returns for the ring in the first time, almost a year, actually be over a year by now, when he lost 6-round unanimous decision to Francisco Rivas of Morelos, Mexico. So looking for that one now. Madison going back down to the 4-rounders. I don't know why, but he was at a 6-rounder. He's been at 2 6-rounders now, and we'll see what happens with Kobe Madison against Guillermo Del Rio. Now, this is a change because the other bout is a change. Because originally it was supposed to be Ashton Sykes that was out of Columbia, Maryland, scheduled to be on this card. But apparently he's off. He's replaced by another Beltway boxer, Evgeny Mechanov, out of Forestville, Maryland now. He's a junior lightweight. He's looking to bounce back from his first pro loss when he battles undefeated Josephat Ortiz of Reading, Pennsylvania. He's originally from Ponce, Puerto Rico, and that's about scheduled for 4 rounds as well. Now, Mechanov's originally from Sofia, Bulgaria. He's 0-1 because he lost his pro debut on March 30th at Michael's 8th Avenue in Glen Burnie, Maryland. You heard that bout. He was a good bout against Jamal Dyer. He lost by 4-round split decision in that bout. That was a really good bout, and one of the reasons why we named Jamal Dyer the co-rookie of the year this past year, because it was a great bout, no question about that. So Netchdown looks to win his first pro bout. Ortiz is 2-0, 1 KO. He won a 4-round unanimous decision over Sidel Blocker. That was on August 19th in Atlantic City, New Jersey. So those are the bouts for Friday, April 6th at the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Of course, on Saturday, April 7th at Rosecroft Raceway in Fort Washington, Maryland, we have the Washington Golden Gloves Finals. That'll begin at 7:30. Now, I just got the results from last week's show. I haven't posted them up yet. I'll probably do that tomorrow. But I was not unable to make the show on March 24th on Saturday. So I got the results earlier today, and I'll post them up either late tonight or tomorrow. And hopefully the bout sheet will come in another. Bout sheet probably won't come for another week or so, but it'll be Saturday, April 7th. It'll start at 7:30 p.m. We'll have live blow-by-blow podcast. Juan Marshall and I will have the call on the Boxing on Beltway Google app for Android right here, or on Spreaker.com and iHeartRadio.com for you iOS listeners. And we'll be on the way at 7:25 p.m. Eastern Time for the 7:30 card for the Washington Golden Gloves Final. Hope that bout sheet very, very soon for that. And, of course, April 7th is a huge day in the Beltway and all around the world, as a matter of fact, for the Beltway around the world, I should say. Not in the Beltway, unfortunately. But, of course, the big day, the big bout on Saturday, April 7th is, of course, IBF Junior Middleweight Champion Swift Jared Hurd at Keek, Maryland, putting his title on the line in a unification bout against WBA and IBO champion, the American Dream, Arislani Lara, Houston, Texas, excuse me, by way of Guantanamo, Cuba. So as you know by now, both men fought their last bouts, defending their titles on October 14th at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Hurd, of course, scored a 10-round stoppage of former world champion Austin Trout. He's 21-0, 15 KOs, while Lara was 25-2, 2 with 14 KOs. He won a 12-round unanimous decision over Terrell Garcia on that card. A lot of people did not like that bout at all. So that's a big one, no question about that. We'll have more about that next week. We'll give you a good preview on that one. And the bout will be televised by Showtime, of course. It's the main event as well. The other bout on that card, I believe, is Caleb Truax against James DeGale. Truex defending his title for the first time. So we'll see what happens there. Now, also on Saturday, April 7th, at the Echo Hotel Convention Center in Lagos, Nigeria, former WBO super lightweight champion DeMarcus Chop Chop Corley of D.C. He'll battle Jesus Hibarito Ortega of Hermosillo, Sonora, Mexico. That's a 12-round lightweight contest. Now, I don't know what title they're fighting for, or I have no idea why there's a 12-round bout. It has no title listed thus far. That could be wrong, but as of right now, I don't know of any title that's for. Just a 12-round bout. So Corley, of course, 50, 29 and 1, 28 KOs. He looks to bounce back from his 8-round unanimous decision loss to Hank Lundy on February 10th in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Ortega, 15 and 2, 10 KOs, riding an 11-bout winning streak, including a second-round knockout of Francisco Rodriguez on November 10th in Hermosillo. Ortega hasn't fought the greatest competition in the world. So he's one of those guys that if he's not ready for this bout, Corley's going to beat him. And I mean, to see what happens there. And also on that card, Emmanuel Nwodo's on that card as well. Originally from Nigeria, fought out of Baltimore in this area for quite some time. Now fighting out of Beaufort, Georgia. So he's on that card as well. So that's Saturday, April 7th, Echo Hotel Convention Center in Lagos, Nigeria. Also on Saturday, April 7th, at the Municipal Auditorium in Sarasota, Florida, Sea Pleasant, Maryland featherweight James Too Slick Early. He returns to action in a 6-round contest. He'll take on undefeated Joshua Draughter of New Orleans, Louisiana. Early is 2 and 2. He'll look to break a 2-bout losing streak in that bout. Early lost a 4-round unanimous decision to Juan Sanchez on November 21st in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, San Bethlehem Event Center. And Draughter is 3-0, 1 KO. He scored a first-round TKO over the debuting Quatravion Naji Islam. That was on February 23rd in Charlotte, North Carolina. So, nice to see if Early can get a win here. He had won his first 2 bouts, and he lost his next 2 bouts. So we'll see what happens if he can get back on the winning track on that one. That's Saturday, April 7th in Sarasota, Florida. Now let's move to Friday, April the 13th at the Sands Bethlehem Event Center in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Speaking of which, Crofton, Maryland cruiserweight Luther Lightout Smith. He'll be in his first 8-round bout on this card. He'll take on Elvin Coco Sanchez of Paterson, New Jersey. Smith is 9 and 2 with 8 KOs. He looks to bounce back from his 4th-round split decision loss to Lamont Capers. That was on November 30th in Oxon Hill, Maryland at the MGM National Harbor Casino. Again, Lamont Capers, always tough. One of those guys, again, if he's awkward, if you're not ready for him, you're going to lose. No question about that. And that's what happened to Luther Smith there. A tough loss, but I think Capers won that bout going away. Sanchez is 8-3-1, 6 KOs. He competes in an 8-rounder for the first time. He looks to build on a second-round TKO over Khalib Whitmore on August 11th. That was in Philadelphia. Now, Sanchez has been fighting longer than Smith has, but he did take about 3 years off. He took some time off between 2014 and 2017. Now, back in 2013, in February, he fought Venroy July and scored a 3rd-round TKO. July was undefeated at that time, but I remember July was having a lot of difficulty going in that bout. His father just passed. They were trying to find some place in Jamaica to bury him. So he was having a whole lot of problems in that situation going into that bout. He just was not ready, and Sanchez took advantage of that. So that was the last time Sanchez fought it. But the only other time that Sanchez fought a Beltway boxer. So once again, that's Friday, April 13th, Sands Bethlehem Event Center in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Greg Outlaw was scheduled to be on this card out of Bowie, Maryland, but apparently he hurt himself. I think he suffered a gash in the head, an accidental headbutt in training, so he's not going to be on this card. So that's Friday, April 13th. Then on Saturday, April 14th, this will be at the Masonic Temple in Norfolk, Virginia. This is a Ponytail Promotions card. However, the only Beltway boxer scheduled to be on this card, as we know at this moment, is going to be Mac Poppy Allison IV out of Baltimore, the super featherweight. He'll be in a 6-round contest against an opponent to be determined. Allison is 7-1-1. He's looking to bounce back. He has 7 KOs, but he's looking to bounce back from his first pro loss. He dropped a 6-round unanimous decision to Reggie Barnett Jr. on the last card at Masonic Temple back on December 9th. Now, Allison was 7-0, 7 KOs, and then he had a draw against Matt Murphy I believe that was at DuBurns Arena, and then he had the loss to Reggie Barnett. So Mac needs to get back on the stick a little bit and see what he can do. So that's Saturday, April 14th, McSign Temple, Norfolk, Virginia. Again, and I think he's the only Beltway boxer scheduled to be in that card. There was talk that Alexander Marine was going to be on that card, but I don't think he's going to be on that card in Norfolk. 1 week later, Saturday, April 21st, will be at Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Former IBF super featherweight champion Gervonta Tank Davis out of Baltimore. He'll look for his second world title when he battles former WBA featherweight champion Jesus Cuellar of Buenos Aires, Argentina. And this will be for the vacant WBA super featherweight championship. Davis, of course, 19-0, 18 KOs. He won his last bout in 8-round KO over Francisco Fonseca on August 26th in Las Vegas. However, Davis, as you know by now, lost the title on the scales. Cuellar is 28-2, 21 KOs. He'll try to bounce back from losing his WBA title in a 12-round split decision to Abner Mares. That was back in December 2016. So he's not been in the ring since he lost that championship. That was in Los Angeles, California, and that bout will be on Showtime. So once again, that's Gervonta Davis taking on Jesus Cuellar for the vacant WBA Super Featherweight Championship Saturday, April 21st at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Then on Saturday, April 28th, this will be at the Liqueurs Center that's located on the campus of Temple University in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Laurel, Maryland, super middleweight, the best at it, Nicholson. He'll take on Jesse Hardwork Hart in a 10-round bout, nationally televised by ESPN. Now, Nicholson is 18-2-1, 17 KOs. He scored a bounce-back second-round victory, TKO victory over Josue Obando. That was on August 25th in Miami, Oklahoma. This will be Nicholson's first 10-round encounter, and this is a big bout for him. I mean, every time Nicholson has stepped up a little bit, he's had difficulties. Well, let me say this. When he lost to Laquan Byfield, that was not a step up, that was a step back. We'll say that because he had no business losing to Laquan Byfield. Byfield, I don't think has won a bout since he beat Nicholson. The bout against Steve Wills was a step up to him. It was a good step, and I thought he fought great in that bout. He just didn't get the victory. He lost by split decision. I thought he fought great in that bout. I really did. I thought he could have won it, but tough break there. But this bout, I really believe this is kind of a step up for him. I really do. Hart is 23-1, 19 KOs. He also got back in the winning track. He lost a title bout back in September, and he came back and scored a first-round TKO over Thomas Awembono on February 3rd in Corpus Christi, Texas. I like Jesse Hart. We saw Jesse Hart at the MGM National Harbor. I believe he was on the April 14th card at MGM National Harbor. That was the one with Malik Hawkins and Glenn DeZern. He was on that card. So he's very, very good. No question about that. So that's going to be a tough bout for him. And it's going to be on ESPN. I believe it's a co-feature bout on ESPN on Saturday, April 28th at Temple University Liqueurs Center in Philadelphia. And we're also hearing that Baltimore, Maryland boxer Tyrese Lady Tiger Douglas will have a world title bout scheduled in Mexico City. That'll be on April 28th as well. We don't know who the opponent is. And as soon as we get that to you, as soon as we find out, we'll get that to you. No question about that. Now, going back to March a little bit, Malik Hawkins, big bout coming up on March the 30th. March 30th. March 30th is Friday night. And that's a big bout for him coming up. So hope we get that one squared away. And that's going to be against Raymond Tito Serrano coming up there. And I believe it's going to be at the 2300 Arena, I believe, in Philadelphia. So we'll see how he does with that one. That's a big bout for Malik Hawkins, of course. If he can get better, that's for the NABA USA championship, welterweight championship. If he can win that, that's a big win for him. It'll be at the Fillmore in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So if he can win that one, that's a huge, huge victory for Malik Hawkins and puts him in the rankings in WBA and puts him in great shape going forward. So that's our schedule. And again, just a shame it's not any boxing in the Beltway. Again, we're not looking at that till sometime in June. I've been hearing that the summer months might kick in a little bit with some Beltway boxing, but for now, you got to be satisfied with the great boxing that we have all around the area and around the country, for our belt and around the world, really, for our boxers. So we'll see what happens as we go forward. Well, Beltway Boxing News and Notes brought to you once again by Real Time Pain Relief. You go to freepainoffer.com, buy $10 worth of Real Time Pain Relief, you get a free $10 tube of Real Time Pain Relief. Rub it on, the pain is gone in real time. And of course, we're brought to you by DeborahSpears.com, and you get that great boxing pendant she has on sale. And if you're a new member to DeborahSpears.com, you can get your first purchase for 20% off plus free shipping for any pendant you may want to buy on any part of jewelry you may want to buy on DeborahSpears.com. That's DEBRA Spears.com. I'm Gary Digital Williams. Thanks for joining everybody. And don't forget, coming up, the Golden Gloves on April the 7th. And we have great boxing all throughout the month of April coming up. Thanks for joining everybody. And always remember to keep supporting the best boxing in the world. The boxing along the Beltway. Thanks for listening. Take care.